A very good afternoon, all the students. Welcome to part 9 of Python for Beginners, which is not now for beginners because you've reached part number 9. And so far, who have completed all 8 parts, I must congratulate them that you're moving nice and you're being quite patient and you'll get rewarded. Right, and let me have the recap before we get started of what we learned in the previous class, which is part 8. And in case you jumped in directly, I reckon you going back and checking 1 to 8 parts before we move to part number 9, because to move to part number 9 and complete part number 9 has a prerequisite, that is completing all part 1 to part 8 lectures, right? And I can guess, right, since all of you who are watching have completed, and let's get started with class number 9. Right, and now we were doing this, and a student messaged me. He had some confusion regarding static and dynamic, which I just said. Let me tell you again and let me recap once again. For example, I say name is equivalent to let's say about NIIT, right? This is what name is. Now if I say, right, while, right, I can say a while I, let me declare I also. So I'll say I is equivalent to 0. While I is less than, so I have to statically count it. 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? So this means I'm counting it statically, right? It does not have any scope of change, right? For example, if I say while I is less than 3, right? 0, 1, 2, and 3, or we can say less than or equivalent to 3, or we can say it is less than 4, because at 4 I want to exit the loop. Okay, let's continue with this. I say print name, but do you want to print full name? And this way what is going to happen, you are going to print name maybe 5 times, right? So that's true. No, not 5 times, it's going to be an unending loop, right? So you'll have to manually select and press Control X. It doesn't at times break, so we'll have to press Control C twice. Now, because it's an unending loop. Why is it an unending loop? Because you're not incrementing I, so that the condition becomes true. Now, in order for this condition to become true, I repeat, in order for this condition to become true, you have to increment this I right here. So I'll say I equals I plus 1. Alright, so this is also sufficient. Now, you can see what happens. You're getting NIT 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4 times. Why are we getting NIT 4 times? Right, let's go back and see 0, 1, 2, 3, or we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So let's go and check the loop. I is 0. Yes. Is 0 less than 4? Yes, 0 is less than 4. Print name. 0 is, how much is I now? I is 1. Is I less than 4? Print name. So name is going to be completely taken and printed for 4 times. Now if I want to break down the string to char, I'll say print I. Now what is this I going to take? I is initially 0. You go and enter the loop, print name and the 0th element. Why? Because I is initially a 0. You're printing the 0th element, right? And now after printing, you increment I. I is now 1. Now you enter the loop and print the first character, which is I. Now, right, you run it for 3 times. Now I is 3. You print the name is NIIT, and the third character, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Third character is going to be T, right? And now after, when you finish, now I is finally 4. Now go to the loop. Is I less than 4 or is 4 less than 4? No, you come out of the loop. But what you have to do here, and what you are doing here, you're giving this number which is static. For example, if I increase it to NIIT Srinagar, what is going to happen? You'll have to manually count it, because then it's static. You manually count it. You're still getting only NIIT. Why? Because the condition of the loop is static. Now this is called as static condition of the loop, right? So I'll just mark it down. So this is called as, right, a static loop condition, right? And where your loop is limited to run only from 0 to 3, because less than 4 means 3. 0 to 3, which means 4 times the loop will run. 0 is 1. 0 means first time the loop will run. 1 means second time the loop will run. 2 means third time the loop will run. 3 means 4 times the loop. That means this loop is going to run 4 times, right? So now I have increased NIIT Srinagar. Now what I have to do, I'll have to statically count it: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then go and type it statically right here. Then I'm going to get NIIT Srinagar. It's less than 12, so I'll have to type 13 here, right? Because it has to be less than. So NIIT Srinagar is typed. Any problem? Right. So this is why I call this static. Now, if I decrease it, now we are going to get an exception, right? Index error out of range. N comes nicely, I comes nicely, I comes nicely. That means 4 times the loop is running nicely. Now you want the loop to run for 13 times. But right, once you are incrementing 0, there is something, 1, there is something, 2, there is something, 3, there is something. But once the loop reaches 4, there is nothing, right? Element is empty. So it is going to throw this exception. So that's why I said we need to make this dynamic. How do you make this dynamic? By first counting the length of the name. So that's why I said, will you please give me the length of name, right? So length of name is going to dynamically return. Dynamic means anything that changes. Static means anything that does not change, right? So anything that does not change is static. Anything that changes and responds is known as a dynamic. Now I say get the length of name, right? And while this is less than, right, while I is less than the length of name, you go and run it. So now if I run it, you can clearly see we're getting an IIT. Now once I increase it, do I have to change? No, it is dynamic. It changes automatically. Now you know that the length has changed, so automatically you are taking length here. So now this is called a dynamic loop, right? So I hope you have understood this part, and let's move to the next part today. It was just clearing the confusion that some of the students yesterday had. Okay, so now let's move to the ninth part, which is today's class. We're going to get started fresh, right? So let's get started, guys. Right, so now I have another problem. As I said, that we can do loop of list as well. For example, now if list has an NIIT and then list has 0.6 floating variables. Now that is the magic of list, that list can have anything that it wants. So now I'll run for. Now I'll declare this as a range variable. It is going to take looping values in X. Now first loop, you're taking the first element. When the loop runs for the first time, X is going to assign the first element, which is NIIT, to I. When it runs for the second time, it's going to assign 0.6 to I. When the loop runs second time, it's going to assign 1 to I. So that is why I can directly go and say print I. Right? I is taking iterative values. What is iterative values? When the iteration takes place, when you go inside the loop, you take X and you say I, which means it's going to take the first element, run the loop, go to second element, run the loop, go to third element, run the loop, and there is no fourth element available. It is also called as dynamic loop. It will come out of the loop. So let's see. Right, you're getting all three things, right? That is the magic of lists in Python. That's why we call it magic, right? Because a single list is carrying and holding, a string value, a floating value, an integer value, and it can hold maybe a character value as well. So now you can see dynamic loop. It's, as per the length, it's automatically iterating. Iteration means hops. Go to NIIT, goes to I, print I, go to second element, take it to I, print that, go to third element, take it to I, print that, go to fourth element, and print, and so on and so forth, right? And you are seeing this as well. Now we can see this. Now there is also range available. So if I say in Python, I like this. This is the most favorite one. For example, if I declare I say for I, you are declaring it now. It's not necessary it has to be I. You can say S, no problem. It's a range variable that you are declaring in, right? What are you going to loop through? In means I am going to loop through something, right? I will say range 10. Go and loop through the range 10 and print me what is going to go in S. Now what are you going to get? 0 to 9, right? So this means it is going to take the range of 10. Range of 10 means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now if you count it, it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 elements, right? So range, now if I print this, let's say print range of 10. What are you going to get? You can say you're getting 0 to 10. Alright, so that's what we mean by I suppose you're understanding it very well. Now if I say range, now you can see range means 0 to 10. Alright, so range means it starts from 0 and it goes to 10. Can range take more than one values? Right, so now that's my question. Can we give more than one value to range and then iterate accordingly? Yes, that is also possible. For example, I can say give me range from 1 to 10. Let's go back to loop. Alright, so I can say give me range from 1 to 10, and now what happens if I run it? You can clearly see instead of starting from 0, now it is starting from 1. It's still going to 9 because it has to be less than 10. If you want 10, you can go till 11. Now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is what range does. This is why Python is very, very successful, because it has those functions that makes programming and iterations very easy, right? It's very easy. For example, now I'll tell you again, if I want how many, I'll give 1. I want range in 11, 21 and 1. Now what do you expect? 11, 21 and 1. So you can see 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 till 21. Now what is this 1 doing right here? If I say 2, now see this. Alright, now take two digits. Now 11, right, and skip 2. 11, skip 2, go after 11. 2 digits after 11 is 13. 2 digits after 13 is 15. 2 digits after 15 is 17. 2 digits after 17 is 19. So now if I say 0, right, it still means nothing, because it has to be either 1 or 2. For example, if I say 5, so I need to go through 5 iterations. Now you can say 11, and after 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 is at 5th element. So now 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So it goes outside the range. That's why it's printing 11 and 16. If I keep 1, I am going to get all from 11 to 20, right? So I hope you're understanding it, right? Or I can say not necessary from 11 to 21. I can say give me from 1 to 21, which is going to be from 1 to 20. That's going to be displayed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. Now if I say I want to skip 2 in between, I want to skip 1 after 1, after that 2 digits, 1, 2, 3, that means we are getting 3, and then after 2 digits 4, 5, and then after 5 2 digits we are getting 7. So it's going to be something like that. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17 and 19. So this is also what we can do as long as a range function is concerned. So let me basically keep it for you, alright, so that I can document this. So I'm going to add comment. Comment, as you know, is always ignored by the interpreter right here. So this is done and this is done. So now can I do minus, right? For example, I say, hey Python, I want iterations to take place. What is iteration? I remember, I'll tell you again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So iteration means going to this element, then this element, then this element, and this element, right? This is called iteration. Or you can say X has how many elements? 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 elements. So iteration means give me element number 0, give me element number 1, give me element number 2, and give me element number 3. That's called iteration. Then, and for loop is a master of iteration, right? So you would love doing iterations. Once we are retrieving, it is going to be a real fun. Once you are maybe retrieving data from the database and you're iterating through the number of students we have, maybe you're updating your database, you're iterating through how many people have commented, you're iterating. Iteration helps. Now because you people go and comment downstairs, right? So you can see, underneath the video there is a comment section. You go and comment, and now how are we able to achieve that goal, or how are we able to retrieve all the comments at the same time? So now comments table is single, and then you're retrieving all the comments in a loop. So loop is something that you see regularly being used in each and every programming language. It reduces the amount of code that we'll have to usually write, and loop is not possible. Writing manual things without a loop is not possible, because once I tell you, right, because I've shown you count the length of string and then take it as a condition. Now what if you don't know the count of loop, right? So you cannot go. That means for loop is going to reduce human to machine interaction, right? So I gave you that example, right? Static and dynamic, right? Statically, yeah, you can do it statically, maybe type print 10 times, but when you do not know how many times print has to execute the statement, so there you require dynamic statement. So that is not possible without loop. So loop is a very important thing. And the second thing that I wanted to show you, what if I say give me from 20 to 10 and say -1. Now it is going to reverse. Is it going to reverse? I suppose, yeah, it is reversing. 20, 19, 18, 17. Yeah, it's basically subtracting 1. You can say subtract 2 as well. It can subtract 2 and give you those elements. 20, 18, 16, 14 and 12. After 12 you certainly have 10, so 10 is not going to come. Right, it's as easy as anything. So there's nothing, right? Okay, let me say I want to achieve a goal wherein I do not want to print values which are divisible by 5 or maybe 2. Number is not an issue here, so let me write it down here. Values divisible by 5 should not be printed. So what I want to achieve today is that all the values that are divisible by 5 should not be printed, right? In range from, let's say, 1 to 20. I don't want to print them, right? So for that, if I run a for loop, okay, for is very well in a range. So I'll first take the range. Let us keep anything 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 means 1 to 21, and all the values which are divisible by 5 should not be printed. Alright, so are you trying to get me? Okay, fine. Now how do you achieve that? For example, if I print I, so I know that I am going to get 1 to 20, so that you already know, okay? But what I want only the values, right, which are divisible by, which are not divisible by 5, right? Values divisible by 5 should not be printed. So what I'll do here, let me tell you. So I'll have to, can we use if? Yeah, we can use condition inside a for loop. I will say if, print only if. I repeat, print only if. Now I takes values. What is I taking? I is taking iterative values, right? Loop is going to run, right? 1 is going to be inside I. Now second time loop will run. So this loop will run till 21 times. Second time it is going to have 2. Third time it's going to have 3. Fourth time, that's why it's called as a range variable, right? So this is the range 1 to 21. The range is going to assign with every loop. The range is going to assign a certain value to this I. That's why we call this as a range variable, right? First 1 is assigned and then till 20 because 21 is the maximum. It's always less than 21. So 21, right? So till 21 is not going to, because 1 to 21 is going to be 20 iterations. So 20 iterations one by one are going to be assigned to this I, right? So now what we are printing? We are printing I. Now can I do something like this? Can I say before printing, right? Before you print, right? Please tell me that I modulus 5. I, if it is divisible by 5, because you'll have to say if it is divisible by 5, right? So the remainder has to be 0, right? So I will say if I divided by 5 is equivalent to 0, right? And if I divisible by 5 is equal to 0, print. Now it is going to cause problem here. Now you can see right here it is going to throw an error. Why? Right? Because now this print is inside loop, right? It's not a fun, right? So it makes no sense, right? because if has to be in, this print has to be inside the body of if rather than the body of for loop. So that's what I'll do right here. I will just hit a single tab and now print is inside this for loop. Now you can say all which are out of from 1 to 20, all the values which are divisible by 5 are 5, right? 5 1 5, 5 2s are 10, and 5 multiplied by 3 15, 5 multiplied by 4 is equivalent to 20. Now I said should not be printed which are divisible by 5. So in that matter I will say not equivalent to 0. This means not equivalent to, opposite of is equivalent to is equivalent to. It is also comparison, but it is not equivalent to comparison, whereas is equivalent to is comparison, right? So it is not equivalent. That means now in except from 5, 10, 15 and 20 we are going to get all the values. Now let us see. Yeah, 5 is not there, right? Even 10 is not there, 15 is not there, right, and 20 is not there. So you can do both the things right here. Now you can see that how conditional formatting has helped us achieve the goal, right? Like all those which are divisible by 5 should not be printed, or they should be printed. As simple as anything. Print them or do not print them. Use not, do not print them. As simple as anything, right? So let me document this again for you. I'm just commenting them so that I can prepare a sketch for you, so that you can download that sketch and start doing practice. I don't know, I'm working very hard for you guys. I don't know how hard you guys are working, but yeah, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you guys and I can pray for you. Alright, so now let us say, for example, I have this query. For example, let me take it here. So I will say I want to take a number as an input, right, which is going to be converted to integer because I want an integer input, and the input is how many laptops do you want, right? So I'll put a question mark right here and I'll put is equivalent to right here, right? So how many laptops do you want is what we are taking as input from the user. So now what I can do right here, I can say while, right, I is less than or equivalent to number, right? So while, right, unless, while means also unless I is less than or equivalent to the number. Now what you got to do, print, right, print laptop, right, comma I. So what is it going to do? It's going to print I. We haven't declared I. Let's say I is equivalent to 1, right? So it's going to print now loop for the first time laptop I, which has 1, and now what is the number? Number is what you have entered. So dynamically it's going to run the times you have entered the number, right? And what you got to do, I, you can even write this I is equivalent to I plus 1 has a short form I plus is equivalent to 1. So this means same, assign this 1 to I, but take the value, add that value to that, or we can still keep I equals I plus 1. So we can keep it as simple as anything, and at the end of the loop, come out of the loop and print end, right? So this is as simple as anything. No rocket science is required, basic logic. So what has happened here? Number is equivalent to, alright, how many laptops do you want? I'll say I want 3 laptops, right? Okay, now you can see laptop 1, laptop 2, laptop 3, and so this is dynamic. You're taking input dynamically, alright? Now you can say how many laptops do you want? I'll say 20, right? You can see dynamically it's working now dynamically. Dynamic means something that changes. Static means it's going to print 5 and I cannot change it, right? I don't have to take input. I'll manually give 5 and that's it, right? Laptop 1 to laptop 20 is easily printed. So this is what we can do with loops, right? Okay, let us say now we have, for example, a transaction based condition, right? So let me call this as transaction based on a condition. I want to do a transaction which is based on a condition. So let me take it again. I'll say number is equal to input. How many laptops do you want? And now what I do here, I'll say while. Alright, I can say while I know that less than or equivalent to number. Number means the number that I have entered here, right? So unless it runs till the time the number has entered, whatever you have entered, right? And what I can do right here, I can pre-declare, right? Stock is equal to 5. For example, let's say you go to Amazon, right? And the Amazon, Amazon sells stocks, and Amazon, keeps the stock of everything that it has. All the shopkeepers, they too keep the stock of what they are selling. Now, let's say about you are ordering 5 mobile phones, but the shopkeeper has only, let's say about 2 mobile phones in the shop. Now, you will end up paying for 5 mobile phones when the shopkeeper has only 2. So it's going to be breach. It's called customer breach. You are basically cheating the customer. Why have you taken money of 5 mobile phones when you knew that initially you had only 2 or 3 mobile phones in the stock? So how do you keep that stock? That's what I said, that Amazon provides you, right? It's going to display how many pieces are available. If 2 pieces are available, you may not be able to purchase 4. That's called as a transaction that's based on a condition. So now we will keep a condition here. Stock is equal to 5. That means I have only 5 in the stock, right? Okay. Or what we can do right here, I can initially go and print, right? So let me go and print only 5 in stock. All right, so I have already printed that I have only 5 in the stock. Now I go to the loop, right? Now I will say if in case, right, I is greater than, right, stock. Stock is 5. Now if your I, which is the number, right, you can sell 5. If it goes ahead or it goes more than the stock, right, and then print out of stock. You can print this out of stock. This is what you can do. You can easily print out of stock. And what do you want? You can break the loop. Break is enforcing to break the loop, because if, let's say about, if I have entered 10 here, right? So let's say I have entered 10. So now how many times the loop will run? Is less than or equal to number. That means the loop is going to run for 10 times, right? But how many pieces are left? The stock is only 5. Now at 5, I want to break the loop, or I want to continue the loop. No, I want to break the loop as soon as it goes out of the stock. I will not print, right, that you have purchased it. I'll say no, now I'm breaking. Break is a statement used to break the loop, right? And now you are breaking. Else what you go, come out of the if and go directly to while loop. Now while loop is here. This is the body of if, and where if starts is basically the body of while loop. So I can say print inside the loop. I can easily say now print laptop, and I can print the value of laptop easily, right? So which is I, okay, right? And I can say I is equal to I plus 1, as simple as anything. So this is your loop, right? And this is here the end of the loop. This is the body of the loop, and only 2 statements inside if. That means out of the stock and break the loop will only happen when the stock goes above 5. Let's see that practically. Alright, so we have this error. What is this 10 doing here? Okay, let's carry on. Okay, let me indent it properly. I don't know why have I indented it badly. This is supposed to be inside the loop. Now let me run it. Yeah, how many laptops do you want? So I'll say I want 5 laptops. I is not defined. I is equal to 1. Okay. because I have to define I, and now since I is defined, how many laptops do you want? I'll say 5. Laptop 1, laptop 2, laptop 3, laptop 4, and laptop 5 sold. I do not have any problem right here. But the moment I say how many laptops do you want, I'll say 10, but I'll be able to deliver only 5, so I'll say laptop 1, laptop 2, laptop 3, laptop 4, laptop 5, and out of the stock. Now what has happened, right? As soon as this I, which is incrementing right here after every loop, now I is 1 less than number is 10, right? So it's going to run for 10 times, but as soon as it reaches 5, it says out of the stock and break the loop. That means you are not going to print this now, because you're breaking, you're coming out of the loop here, right? As simple as anything. I repeat, unless I is less than or equal to number can be anything, 100, 200, 300, right? Because I've written it's a transaction based on a condition, so this transaction only happen when the condition is fulfilled, right? So loop will run unless this is true, right? But I am going to break the loop even if it is true, but if it goes out of the stock, I am going to break your condition. So this is the condition of the if. That means this body will not be executed here. The body of if will not be executed unless this statement here is true, right? Which means I is greater than 5, right? So it's not going to get executed. And this is the condition for loop. So this loop is going to run for the number of times that you enter, right? So let me show you once again. If I enter 6, right, so I'm not going to get the sixth one out of the stock. 5 is what I'm going to sell, right? Now let's do one thing. Let's increase the stock. Now I have 15 stock, right? Now I have 15 stock. So I will type, how many pieces do you want? I'll say 5. No problem, I'm getting 5, right? So that's not a problem. I'll say I want 15, so that's not a problem. I get all 15 laptops. Now if I type I want 20, I'll not get more than 15. After 15, out of the stock, break the loop, come out the loop, right? So what is this called as? I hope you're understanding it in a very nice manner. Even if you're not, 50 to 60% understanding is very good, right? And now, because understand this, when I say this, please keep your eyes, ears open now, because I'm going to tell you very important things. So something that's very important for you, all right? Even if you spend your entire life attending lectures, watching videos, going to classes, and only watching classes, this is programming. I repeat, this is programming. It requires sheer amount of practice, right? Watching lectures is not going to make you developers, but you will end up wasting your time. Practicing with patience is going to make you a developer. Now do your R&D here, right? Do your R&D. There are many conditions that I may tell you, right? So that's what you have to do, right? Practice very hard, right? And now you, after completing the lecture, maybe you're satisfied. Oh, I've understood everything. Doesn't mean you have understood everything. It does not mean that you know everything and you can develop a software unless you practice it, right? So practicing is very important. Okay, I hope you have understood it very well. Condition, transaction based on a condition, right? Okay, now let me comment this as well right here. So this is how we comment long structures. Now you can see start of the comment and end of the comment. So this is going to be completely ignored by the Python interpreter. See, nothing comes, right? So this is all ignored by the Python interpreter. All right. So now, for example, I have two conditions now, right? Skip. Let's say I want to skip values divisible by 3 or 5. I want to skip those values which are divisible by either 3 or 5, right? What is divisible by 3? 3 is divisible by 3, right? And 5 is divisible by 5. 9 is divisible by 3. 10 is divisible by 5. So on and so forth. So for example, these are the values which are divisible by 3 and 5. 5 multiplied by 1, 5. 3 multiplied by 1, 3. 5 multiplied, or we can say 5 multiplied, if we have this 5, 3, no, I'll keep it 3. Okay, 3 multiplied by 1, 3, right? 3 multiplied by, 5 multiplied by 1 and 3 multiplied by 3 is 9, and 5 multiplied by 2 is equal to 10. So can I do that? If yes, then how do you achieve that, right? And let me show you. I'll say for I in range. I'll directly go with range. For example, from 1 to 50. I want from 1 to 50. If I want 1 to 50, I'll have to go one step ahead, because it's range means till maximum 51. So it's going to be one digit less than 51. So 1 to 51 means it's going to take 1 to 50 only, right? So I've given range. Range is a function. Now if I say if, please give me only those values, right, which are either divisible by 3 or divisible by 5, or I'm using or, not and. I'll say if I modulus 3 is equivalent to 0, right? If I, what is in I in the first iteration will contain 1. Is 1 divisible by 3 0? No. 2? No. 3? Yes, right? It's happening like that. All right. So that is the first condition. So if I'll just get rid of this brace, if I divided by 3 is equal to 0, right? That is the first condition. Or if this is not true, now you can see I'm giving you second condition. If I divided by modulus 5, right, is equivalent to 0. As I already said, this is called as what? This is called as comparison operator, right? So I will have 1, and when you loop through, will have from 1 to 50 values. And while looping through, with every loop, you're checking this condition, right? And you say, if this matches, terminate, go inside the body of if, right? And you can say print I, right? You'll say print I. So let me see this. Right, so what are you getting? You are getting the values 48. Now let's say 3 multiplied by 1, 3, 5 multiplied by 1, 5, 3 multiplied by 2, 6, 3 multiplied by 3, 9, 5 multiplied by 2, 10, right? 3 multiplied by, and now you can see all the values that you are getting are actually, or you can say and. I need those values which are both. So and I'm not sure that you are going to get. Yeah, you are going to get. These are the values and I'm using. And now these are the values which are both divisible by 3 and as well as divisible by 5. Right? 5 divided by 5 multiplied by 3, 15. 3 multiplied by 5, 15. Now you can see 3 multiplied by 10, 35 multiplied by how much? Yes, you know that is it's basically, very understood that how is and or is behaving. And means both the conditions have to be true. I need only numbers which are divisible by 3 and 5. And means both should be true. This has to be true and this has to be true. Or means even if one is true, it's okay. And now that's why and is giving you the values. You can see, for example, it's giving you 3. Is 3 divisible by 5? No, 3 is not divisible by 5. But yeah, 3 is divisible by 3. Yeah, that is divisible by 3. So that is why you're getting 3. Is 5 divisible by 3? No, 5 is divisible by 5. Right? So that is where OR is playing the role. And is going to make sure that you will print only if both the conditions are true. And means both the conditions are true, which you will see here. Right? And OR means either one condition is true. So that's why you're getting all the, that's why I said or and is also there. So let me take this in the comment section as well. Right? So I hope you're getting it very nicely. So let's carry forward with this class. Divisible by 3, divisible by, skip values divisible by 3 is also there. Now what if I do not want, right? And is also there. So let me say continue and break. We have other things that we have to get. So let us odd numbers, let's print odd numbers, let us print even numbers, right? And that way we can also achieve that, right? What else? So let me take a look at time, and then before we start, so I'll have to take a look at the timing. So timing, we still have good amount of time left, right? We can do many different things right here. Okay. Fine. So now this, I suppose this is all understood, right? So you have been able to get it. Now we have, as I said, we have even numbers, we have odd numbers, we have divisible by 2, we have divisible by 3, and we have many different things that we can achieve during and doing for loop with conditions, right? So what we are doing here, we are taking for loops. Let me take it and show you another example. What we are doing here, right? For I in range 1 to 51. Now what I have to do the same with I want to do the same with while loop, right? How can you achieve that? So that is the question, right? So I will say it's a range from 1 to 51. I'll simply say while, right? I'll have to declare I is equal to 1. I want to start with 1 while I is less than or equivalent to or less than 51. So I'll say while I is less than 51, you do iterations, and while doing the iteration, do I is equivalent to I plus 1. So that's also done. You can do that in while as well, right? And if you want to use and in while, you can use and in while, right? So only for being for loop being we can say dynamic itself does not require any dynamic data. For example, if it goes outside the range, it's going to cause problems, right? You want till 100, right? So you're not using any range variable here, but for uses range, and that is very good for you guys, right? And for is actually a dynamic loop, so it's very better. And for each, because for has been updated regularly, right? It's something that gets regular updations for loop, right? Okay, let's understand now continue and print, right? So for example, what if I say print and continue? Now what I say here, continue, and now I say here print. Now let us see what is going to happen here. You're going to get the same thing. So now what it does, that if I divided by 3 is equal to 0, or I divided by 5 is equal to, I mean, if there are values in I divisible by 5, or if there are values available in I which are divisible by 3, continue. Do not break the loop. Go ahead, right? And then print I. If you say break, it's going to break the loop. The moment it finds it, you can say 1, 2, 3. Is 3 divisible by 0? Right, is I divided by 3, which is I, first time it's going to be 1. Yeah, I divided by 3 is equal to 0. Yes. Is I divided by 2 0? No, right? So that's why you break the loop and print I. Now I say do not break it, continue. It's just to check the condition. You continue, right? So you can see you're continuing till you're getting all the values. Now 1, 2, you're not getting 3, right? You are not getting 5, right? So on and so forth, right? So this is what continue does. And if you can use and, it's basically doing the reversal of what it had to do. I can show you again, right? So what are you getting? And only those values are skipped. Now 1, you can easily see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is not there. Now you can easily see here. Now why isn't 15 here? Because 15 is divisible by 3 and is divisible by 5 as well, isn't it? So now if I take 15 here, right, is it divisible by 3? Yes, 15 is divisible by 3, right? Is 15 divisible by 5? Yeah, 15 is divisible by 5. 3, right? So we can say 3 multiplied by 5, 15, right? And if I say 5 multiplied by 3, still 15. So that is why we have skipped 15 here, right? I say, let's take a look. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Now you can see that 30 is not here. Why isn't 30 here? 30 is divisible by 3 and 30 is divisible by 5. Right? And now rest is here. Right? Okay. right? So did you understand this? Continue. Now if I take this inside loop here, now if I take it in if, for example, if I take directly in if and then print, now I am getting those values only, right? Now I repeat, I'll make you understand, right? Run your loop from first to 50. Is that understood? So this line is understood, I suppose, right? This line means you are running loop from first, or you can say number 1 to number 51. That means you are running from first to 50, from 1 to 50, right? So this is understood. Now while iterating through, any number which is divisible by 3 and which is divisible by 5 will be printed here. That's as simple as anything, right? Because to print anything, it is inside the if condition. Now if I make this, I want to do an opposite of it. I say I want every single number, right? I repeat, now you can see it here. We are getting those numbers which are divisible by 3 and 5 both. Now I want to do the opposite of that. I want the numbers which are, right, divisible by 3 and 5 to be removed, not printed. I want those numbers to be removed. So what will I do? I will take this inside the loop, not inside if, right? But what you are going to do, where is the body of if, right? So you need to give the body of if as well then, right? So if does not have body, so I will say continue. Whenever you find this, please continue, right? So it's going to continue, and now you can see that all the numbers like 30, you will see 30 is removed, right? So this is, completely opposite of that. Or I can use or. Please remove all those. Now you can see there are many removed. 50 is also removed. 50 is divisible by 5, right? 3 is divisible by 3, removed. 5 is divisible by 5, removed. And now if I don't take this continue, I take this print statement inside if. So now I'll get only those values which are divisible. You can see 3, 5, 9, 6, 10, 12, 15, 18, 20, 24, right? So this is how this range is going to work, right? And this is how if and else. It's basically very simple. It's not complicated at all. I know you may have certain problems in understanding at the first go, but that's not the end of the day, right? You might have those problems initially once you're getting started. Believe me, once I started working with loops, it took me 1 month, entire 1 month, to understand what loop does, right? It's not like you're going to get it at the first go, but as we go on with the classes, right, and as time passes, so we are going to understand, because we have to practice it very hard, right? So let us basically print odd numbers, and let us not print odd numbers. So in that case, we are going to do that as well. So let me show you this continue as well. Let me keep it in comments. Okay, odd numbers, even numbers. Okay, odd numbers, so I'll say are the numbers which are not divisible by 2. So I'll say as simple as anything. If I, which is the number that's coming through loop, modulus, you can say 2 is not equivalent to 0. All those numbers which are not divisible by 2, I want to print them. Fine, so you can see you are getting them, right? So 1 is not divisible by 2, 3 is not divisible by 2, 5 is not divisible by 2, 6 is, you're getting, right? What if I want to print odd numbers rather than skip odd number? I want to print odd numbers rather than skip them, right? So what I do, I will take this print here. The moment I take print inside for loop, the body of if gets empty and we get an error. So what I do here, I will say continue. Continue the loop, and now once I print, you can see I am getting only the numbers which are divisible by 2. 2 is, 4 is, 6 is, 8 is, 10 is, 12 is. So what are we getting? We are not printing odd numbers now. We are basically skipping odd numbers here. Initially we were printing odd numbers. Now we are skipping odd numbers. So let's say range is going to be from 1 to 10 only, so that we understand it more better way. Now 1 to 10, what are we doing? We are printing, we are skipping odd numbers now, right? So you can say 2, 4, 6, 8 are even numbers, right? So odd numbers I am skipping. Now if I want to print odd numbers, I'll take this continue away, and I'll take print in if you can see odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, right? So both of the things can be achieved using this continue and using this pass. And second thing we can do, for example, if we do not have body, we can even do something like this. Instead of continue, you can say pass. Pass means body is not required. Now you can see you're still getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You're getting all. So this is doing nothing here, right? So here continue is basically doing something, right? Right? You get me? What continue is doing, right? You're continuing with the loop, right? And it's basically going to give this ID. All right. So now I repeat. If I want to print, and then I'll not keep it continue, because if I once I keep this, let us see the logic behind this. Now once I keep print inside if, that means to print the condition has to be true, right? You get me? Okay. And even if the condition is true, you say continue, you're going to skip the opposite side of it. For example, for I in range, we know that you are going to print this loop is going to loop through from 1 to 10. So first from 1 to 10 the loop will loop through. That's understood. Now the moment I divided by 2 is not equivalent to 0, right? Print that, right? For example, I divided by 2. So for example, I we can say is going to be, for the first time, I is going to be 1 divided by 2 is equivalent to 0. No, it is not equivalent to 0, right? So I am going to print 1. I divided by, now second time, 2, which is when once I is being increment, 2 divided by 2 is 0. Yes, 2 divided by 2 is 0, right? So you are going to skip that, right? So you say not equivalent to 0. So now you can see 1 is not divisible, 2, 3 is not divisible, 5 is not divisible, 7 is not. Now what if I want opposite of that? So I cannot print it inside if block. Then I'll say I want to go outside the if block, right? What will happen to if block? I'll say continue your loop, but only print I. Now I is going to be, you know what, you are going to continue the loop only when this is true. So you are going to skip those, right? So now once I continue and I run this loop here, okay, just a moment, what has happened here? One tab, okay, let's run it. 2, 4, 8, and 6. So now you can see inside if you are getting, you know, not divisible by true, and outside if you're getting those numbers which are. Now you can either say, you can print both of them here. I can say print here I, and you can print outside also I. Now you can see, right? So I can use this here, not divisible, and I can keep I here. And now what I can do here, I can say divisible, right? So we can do this. So right, what is the number? 1 to, so let's say not divisible, 1 to 10. Yeah, 1 is not divisible by 2, right? Divisible 1, divisible 2. So what you are going to get it, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, not divisible, divisible. So what you are going to, you are getting both. So let me skip this. Continue is going to work, right? So because we are getting both the values, so let me not confuse you guys. So divisible by 2 is 2, 4, 6, and 8. So it's as simple as anything, right? If you print inside if, condition has to be fulfilled. If you print outside the if, right, opposite will happen, right? You are going to continue only, this loop will continue only when this is true, right? So I'll give you the more definition tomorrow and with more examples, right? But to wind up today's session, I'll tell you for the final time, this loop is going to run for 10 times, right? Continue means continue loop only if this is true, right? And print means continue loop. When I take print here means continue loop, whether it's true or false, but still print only when it's true. So there are two different things. And practice from you know, point number 0 to here. So practice all what we have understood today. I made you understand what static and dynamic is, what for loop is, what range is. Let's keep 30 to 40%. I still give benefit of the doubt that you guys might not understand, right? But as we progress, we shall be able to understand and achieve everything, because we'll be using database and retrieving data practically, and then and only then you'll understand, yeah, since the data is being retrieved from the database and we're printing it, now then you can understand, yeah, then everything falls at proper place, right? So till then, I wish you all the very best, and today's homework is very important for you guys, right? And I'll give you some homework, right? I want you to print. Let me give you the homework, right? Okay, I can say print. The homework is print in a loop both odd and even number. So this is your homework, and please let me know in the comment section, and please be fast. I may not be able to record it and then show it to you. Print in a loop, right, both odd and even numbers with string text attached, right? String text attached means, for example, we can say 1 is odd, 2 is even. So I want from 1 to 50. Print in a loop, range is going to be 1 to 50, both odd and even numbers, and display text in front of them, which one is odd and which one is even. So this is going to be your homework, and practice, and now you've reached to a place where you require more practicing, inshallah, and you'll understand more. I shall be understanding, or I'll be making you understand about this continue and pass once again tomorrow. Until then, I wish you all the very best. Enjoy and take care of yourself, and remember me in your prayers. Bye bye, take care.